Pardon the interruption. Um, I guess I'll lead on to what I was explaining before earlier on. So they try to keep you on these medications. You know, I got myself off of it. I got myself off of methadone and the fentanyl, and I put myself onto Suboxone, which was even as terrible as methadone, but it wasn't as high as a dosage as I was on methadone and fentanyl together. So it was a massive decrease, which was very helpful. I remained on Suboxone for almost a year, and then I had another pancreatitis attack. And while I was in the hospital, they had me on Dilaudid. They had me on the drip, and like you know, clicking the drip because they didn't even know my tolerance to everything is so high. And then they tried giving me the Suboxone while I was on the Dilaudid, and ended up putting me into withdrawals because if anybody knows about Suboxone, you can't do that. It doesn't. It's an anti-antagonist or whatever, an antagonist. The guys who know about Suboxone, you know that you can't just go from taking a regular opioid and then just kicking and I mean jumping onto Suboxone. You got to wait until you're into withdrawals until you can do that. And anyways, the hospital didn't even know. That's how I don't know. Just doctors don't know anything about it. There's a massive lack of just information out there with pain medication, period. They don't know how to prescribe the pain medication properly. They don't prescribe it properly. It messed up a lot of people's lives, messed up my life. I ended up losing that job and a reputation, and I haven't been able to get it back. In between, I had gotten great jobs, which I ended up losing because of the fact that I was just a zombie. I was never myself again. I couldn't do the work that I did before, and I always had to rely on a daily medication that kept me uh, stable. But it's still chemically there was something. I just was no longer myself anymore, you know. And also, it didn't help that it made me feel like I was a junkie. It made me feel like crap that I was on these medications that I had to take them, and it was so difficult, almost impossible to get off of. And anyway, so I ended up in the hospital with another pancreatitis attack, and they had me on the Dilaudid. And when I got off, I stayed on the Dilaudid. I went to go see my doctor, who it's like a they specialize in helping people with opioids. And this doctor, because I said I don't want to go back onto Suboxone since I was already decreasing, and it's a lot easier to just get off of hydromorphone, which is Dilaudid. It's the actual name for Dilaudid hydromorphone. They had me on that, and I said I just want to decrease on that. They ended up having like a board meeting with me with the entire organization of the place, and pretty much told me that I don't want to take their services, so they're not going to help me anymore. And since then, they've been extremely uh, just terrible, not helping me at all. Like the counselor that I once had, no longer there for counseling. I call up for any kind of information. They hang up the phone on me. They give me attitude. They treat me like crap because I don't want to take their Suboxone or methadone, and that's their big thing is they keep on pushing me. When I originally when I originally made the decision I was going to stay just on hydromorphone, the doctors they gave a prescription to the pharmacy saying that until a certain date, and then when I went in on that date, which I didn't have an appointment for, the doctor said we didn't have an appointment today, but the reason why I made it up until today is because I thought that you would never make it this long. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? I've told you since day one that I want to get off of this. This has been over 7 years now, a battle of getting off these opiates. So at the moment, I'm at a low dosage and I'm almost off of it. It works a lot better. So please, anybody out there that, unless you have a severe issue and you really you believe you're going to be on methadone or Suboxone or opiates for your entire life, don't get onto them. Don't get onto methadone or Suboxone. Get off of it. continue doing what you're doing if you need to, but don't get onto methadone or Suboxone. The withdrawals are worse. They last longer. You got to do your appointments with bullshit doctors who just want you as a customer who makes the money and puts the money in their pocket. You know, and all these things, they put this whole area of my life, this period when I went from being successful, driving BMWs, having beautiful places. I have a nice place now. It's decent. You know, there's other rooms back there. It's nice. It's new, but it's uh, it's helped by the government because the fact that I medically can't perform as I used to be able to. Um, I had to go through some surgeries and whatever. I don't need to get into it, but regardless, and I'm still going through the detox, well, the weaning and the tapering off of the hydromorphone. But you know, it had ended me up on the street. I lived on the street for an entire almost 6 months throughout the summer. I'd worked in fashion in the past. I lost everything, man. I had a Dior suit. I had Jill Sander suit. I had Comme des Garçons, all kinds of outfits. I had pretty much everything from the Rick Owens line I had purchased. I had Givenchy older stuff. I had some Balmain jeans. I had Boris Vian Saberi outfits. I had beautiful clothing, Y3, everything from Y3, from head to toe, shoes, shirts, pants, everything. That was probably my favorite, most comfortable because the fact I was on the street and was useful, especially when it would rain and everything was more of a technical product than the others. And I look great. Now I have nothing. I'm down to nothing. My family owns the fucking fashion business, and my uncle just hired one of my good friends that I had started and I had launched a product with who is fucked me. He fucked me originally and then came and saw me when I was in the hospital, then came back again and is working with my uncle and is pretty much didn't even come see me. He was here for an entire week and told me he was coming. And you know, like that's the impression that I've left on people. They tell them to stay away from me, that I've got some kind of issues when I went through over a year of therapy and have passed everything with golden stars. Um, the issue is the doctors and I take responsibility for everything that I did do. I had done some things when I was on the street, but I had to. I needed to eat. I needed it. I was I needed money. I was making no money. My unemployment wasn't coming in. It was going to my parents' house. It wasn't coming in on time. I wasn't getting it. I didn't know what I was getting. I was out of the loop of that until I actually was in rehab and they fixed it up and got me direct deposit. So I never knew what kind of money I was getting. I never knew that I was getting as much money as I was getting. And that's my own fault as well. I should have looked into that. And anyways, I lost everything. This store, this video is not going to be one of my best videos. It's just something because I haven't said anything in a while, and I just wanted to get a little bit off my chest. You know, um, suicide's been on my mind for a while. I just, you know, I don't have anything anymore. I want to go out and look for jobs, and I have nothing. I have no clothes to wear for these jobs. Um, I have nothing, and I want to go back to what I worked in, what my specialty was, and that was trendsetting and being in fashion, but more so trendsetting part and creating brands and you know like even my own uncle, I had given him so many ideas, and he would crush my spirit by telling me that I was an idiot, that nobody would buy anything that I'm saying, that nobody would do this and that. And now it goes to show, because one of my business plans was to actually work with the person he's working with at the moment from Los Angeles, who was my partner, and I had launched his own brand and helped him with the brand as well. And now he's working with my uncle, and I had done a big business I put together a huge business plan, did a proposal to him, and he laughed in my face. And now he's doing this. And back when, going way back when, before people knew anything about raw denim and salvage denim, I had wanted him to create that. And then next thing you know, another Montrealer comes along, Naked and Famous, launches that because his family helped him out with that. And just so many ideas and just things I could create that I was held back from and laughed at, and then ended up being used. Like I would go and see my uncle, and next thing you know, I'd walk into a store and the outfits would be exactly what I was wearing, like when I had seen them. Um, I get no recognition for anything, just a slap in the face and a lot of back talk. So that's put me in a terrible mood, especially knowing, not only did he hire this guy that I worked with and made his brand, who fucked me over and went with another distributor and pulled me out of it, not because anything was going wrong. They just did it because they thought they could get something faster money, and that ended up ruining the line. I was the line. I was the face of the brand. I was the one introducing it to people and putting it into the stores. I was the one who got it into the whole Renfrews and the TNTs and the whatever. I don't need to go into those details, but not only did they hire him, but they also hired one of my closer friends who I brought in on a trip, and I had let him stay in my place and done so much. Yes, he's helped me a little bit. He came and picked me up once. You know, Other than that, whatever. I got him. I didn't get him. He because of the relationship he was able to get into working with Parasuku, and he took a job too with. Oops, I shouldn't have said that, but whatever. That's the name. That's my last name, and even another one of my best friends had worked for them too, and they took him on. And that was while I was living on the fucking street, and them knowing that I know what to do, and I'm not doing, and I never was doing anything wrong. I wasn't out there. One of my uncles says to go and seek Jesus and how get his help. I don't need all that help. What I need is get out of a bad credit situation that I've gotten myself into, get away from these doctors, continue with my health, and for somebody to believe in me, because all my ideas have gone, and somebody else has later on done it, like year later done it, and succeeded incredibly with it, and have been able to buy themselves mansions and fancy fucking cars and all kinds of stuff. And I'm just frustrated. I think you can hear it, the anxiety and the frustration right now. One of those days, especially since I am leaning off of this on my own right now, and Rivertrill as well. Well, Klonopin in the States, if you want to say so, clonazepam, weaning off both of them at the exact same time. And I'm just I'm sick and tired. I want to break. I want my clothes back. I want you know my laptop was stolen on the street. I had three or four fucking cell phones stolen from me. Um, and like I said, all of my clothing, all of these possessions mean so much to me. And people are like, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. Yeah, but it's on my mind constantly because I get up and I have nothing to wear. I walk around and I look like a fool now, and being on everything government right now because I'm unable to work at the moment. And I can't go out and even just go and afford a simple haircut like I used to get. So that's why my hair's growing out long. I'm just, I'm tired. I want some help from other people to answer back. I want some discussions going on. And I also want to help out other people by letting them know how shitty of a situation you can get into. I'm 33 years old. At 27 years old, I had two lofts that I was owning and renting out another one, and um, beautiful car, beautiful girls. And I was just living the life, and now everybody wants to avoid me like the plague. Like I did something wrong when I've done all. I I did get to the point where I had to be on methadone. I was reliant on a substance, and it took me years to get off of, and other things as well. And I drank because of the fact that I felt so low about myself. But it was no reason to shut me down and backtalk me and put me into the place. I still, need to take responsibility for the actions that I made, but there's a lot of things that have been unfair in this process, and I just wish I could turn back time and been a bit stronger back then, been louder, and made things happen bigger. Um, at the moment, I don't know what to do. I have nobody there to back me. I have nothing. What am I gonna go do? Work at a McDonald's or something like that? It's And how am I gonna get my stuff back? That's what I miss the most. I miss my clothing. I miss my Rick Owens. I miss my Y3. I miss my Boris Bijan. I miss my Dior suit. I miss my Comme des Garçons clothing. I miss my wardrobes. I miss all the bicycles that were stolen from me. I miss my car. I miss my life. I miss my girlfriend. I miss my wife. I miss my everything. I've lost everything. Yeah, I've got to look forward to the future, but at the moment I have nothing, and it's hard having nothing to rise. Yes, I have a roof over my head, and I pray, thank the Lord that I do now have a roof over my head finally. Um, that's one little step forward, but nothing should have ever snowballed into this effect that it had. I should have been taken serious from the moment that I was out there presenting and doing things, and I shouldn't be just backstabbed the way that I'm being, especially by family. It hurts. It's another pain now that I'm dealing with, and it's the newest pain that's on my mind. And again, I'll get into the other things. Like I said, I got. I'll do things by topic. I'll speak strictly about methadone and its side effects and why and what not to do with it. I'll talk to you about fentanyl. I'll talk to you about hydromorphone, Dilaudid. I'll talk to you about OxyContin. I'll do certain subjects on everything. And then I've also had experience with steroids because methadone had completely it ruins your testosterone along with everything else. But it ruins your testosterone. So they put me on testosterone replacement, and I started messing around with that. Got on some steroids and put myself into good shape. I'd always been a skinny, lanky, you know. I'd been missing some things, and I hadn't been fully grown, and that grew me out. Um, I'd always had some issues sexually. I could only sleep like with girls that I didn't really know that well. That was like the thing, and couldn't continue afterwards. And sometimes I wouldn't be able to perform, and I just wasn't able to grow a beard, and so on and so forth. I see it with a lot of guys that I look at. They're lacking testosterone. It's just something that's happening in the world due to the food and everything that's in the food. Again, whole other subject. But yeah, I messed around with other things like Trembolone and Winstrol and Masteron and just pure DHT and all the testosterones. And now I get, well, I always did get them from my regular testosterone from the actual pharmacy. So I get pharmaceutical grade testosterone, and I get a lot of it. Um, but even that, I don't have the money to afford a gym membership at the moment. And that was one thing that actually kept my head out of these clouds that I'm in at the moment. Um, Trying not to darken myself and keep myself in a corner anymore. That's why I'm speaking here. I try to speak to other people, but there's not a lot of people that understand. And it's hard for me to express these things. I go back and forth with everything because there's just so much. And I pretty much need to, if I'm going to do this YouTube channel properly, I need to put things in order of just in an order because this goes on 20 minutes and I don't even know who would want to watch this.